Good morning, folks. Good morning, everybody. You're watching the late night edition of Encounters. Good morning. We we're definitely out, and we just got back in, so to speak. Man, we were out like a light. Good to have you all with us this morning. Everybody coming in here, good morning. We'll be on here till about probably 1:30 or 2 in the morning because we came in late. You know, before 11 p.m., I was at some point awake, but we definitely went out like a light. So we're here live and direct. Probably got some more downloads. Hey, One Toyota, good to see you. And it is a Friday night, so it's good to be here. Hope you're enjoying your Friday wherever you may be around the world. So we'll see who shows up tonight. Hey, Deborah. Thank you for the follows, everybody. Please follow and like. If you're going to like the broadcast, you have to tap on the screen. J Rock 144, welcome to Encounters. This is our late night show. Tomorrow night is our Ashtar Command Q&A. And April and I will be here with the Ashtar Command answering your questions. Dakota, good morning. Jordan, welcome, Jordan. Gypsy, thank you for the share. You know, I encourage everybody to share that we're live right now. Man, I'll tell you. And then when I came back into my physical being, I said, what time is it? So, I'm supposed to be on live. Then I realized it's not 11 p.m. And here I am. So, there you go. Hey, Lisa, welcome. Hey, Bernie, Danny, everybody coming in here. George Russo, welcome. John, hello, Lavella, good to see you. Hey, Bernie, welcome to the show. Hey, Ruby, everybody, Journey, everybody out there, whoever, new or old people coming to our show, welcome. I'm happy I came on too. Like as soon as I woke up, I said, what time is it? I said, oh, it's after midnight. Oh, I was supposed to be on at 11 p.m. Eastern. But, you know, I think sometimes we have to go out of body because, you know, we do too much work on a lot of levels. And, but I feel pretty good. This is Mary, good to see you. Ryan, Tim, Garland, Walls, Goose, Gut. I like it, but my boyfriend is, what? My boyfriend's in love with you. Okay, that's getting a little bit kind of weirded out. Maybe I take that person out. That's getting a little bit kind of weird. For all our relatives, hello, good to see you. I just took that goose gut person out. That person's pretty weird. I don't know what that's all about. Hey, Conscious Vibrations, good to see you. Jared, good to see you. Florida, real estate, good to see you. Hey, Linda. Yeah, TikToker. We'll get into that a little bit in just a few minutes. Oh, I don't know. It sounded pretty weird to me. Hey, Gary, good to see you. And we will definitely talk about, in terms of specifics of going out of body. I guess we'll get into that in a few minutes. If you're new to this show, the way it works here is you have to be over 18 if I have you as a guest. No kids on the show, of course. No foul language, no drugs, no drinking, no smoking on the show at all. And no paranormal discussion on the show. Laugh. I think they meant their boyfriend enjoys your show. Laugh. I hope that's what they meant. Because I'm telling you. That was the weirdest thing I ever heard of. Hey, Ashley, good to see you. Okay, we're going to get this person out of here. We're not talking any politics. This is not a political show. Bye-bye. Those political people, man, they got to know this is a UFO spiritual show. We're not here to talk about Earth-based leaders winning for office. Not here. We're going to bust the matrix, not support it. Hey, Emmy, I got myself some apple cider going here. Yep, we don't want any Earth-based fanatics on here talking about their precious little candidates on Earth. Tom Petty says hi. Hey, Tom. Hey, sassy little mama. It be emo. Hey, it be emo. Good to see you. Welcome. Hey, Jersey for Life. Good to see you. Let me see. I promised this person, if they're on, I promised they would have them on. We'll see if they come on. Thank you for the gift. We appreciate it. For the heart. Oh, you're driving through Connecticut. Good to have you with us. Breakfast, you will. You'll connect with them. Clouds or no clouds. The main thing is that you'll connect with your space family. Hey, Hetty, good to see you. Welcome. Hey, Star Killer, good to see you. Hey, peace, love, and light, Marinee. No, that's tomorrow night. That's Saturday night. I was hanging out on April's live just a little bit ago, and I said, "Oh, it's after midnight," and I said, "I was actually saying, hey, I'm Chai." Yes, I will definitely check my direct messages. I'm sorry that I'm a little bit late tonight. I actually fell asleep earlier after having dinner. Well, that hat is really interesting. So I kind of went out of it, and I'm feeling pretty good now. I got my apple cider going here. Yeah, and we'll check our direct messages after. Yeah, and she's outside enjoying the fresh air in Vermont, which is good, and showing some of the stuff going on there, which is good too. And we're going to have Shy on tonight. I'm better late than late. I was like at this moment, I was saying I have to get on here. I'm supposed to get on live, but again, I was totally out. It's been a long week, and the commander just totally went out. So, all right, let me do this here. And we will check things a little bit later. And if again, one wishes to be a guest on the show, all you have to do, like I said, is follow the protocol of my show. Essentially, you must be over 18. No foul language, no smoking, no drinking. We just like to keep it as professional as possible. And thank God we have, for all the years, guys, I feel like I've been on forever. For the time I've been on here on TikTok since 2023. Yeah. So I'm inviting my friend on, and I know that when I spoke to her last night on our live, I just told her tonight, and I want to say good evening. I'm Shy. Good evening. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Let me bring my volume up here. Wait a minute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I had my volume down. It's a weird thing. I put my earpods on, and for some reason, I have to turn my volume up. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good. It's nice to see you. It's been a very long time, and I'm glad to hear you sound good. So that's important, right?
Yeah, I'm just tired. I arrived into a different time zone today, so I'm just trying to get used to that. But
Have you? Yeah, no, it's just good to have you with us. And I actually, believe it or not, after watching something with my wife on TV, I went out like a light, and I just woke up after 12 midnight.
no, I get that. I get that. But I've
So,
been doing good. I've been busy. Obviously lots of new fun stuff for the UAP world, right? A lot of
yeah, seems
unfortunate
like
stuff
it.
too.
Yeah, on both ends of it too, right?
Yeah, the last time I was on, we talked about some legislation that was introduced by Chuck Schumer, but that's kind of been stonewalled for the public. And
Mm, yeah,
House Armed Services Committee have a lot of people that are being paid off, and have their own separate agendas. I won't really get into that, but
yeah,
um, people that have, private aerospace, people involved in that,
yeah,
running their
yeah.
campaigns and stuff. So um, a lot of that stuff is kind of stopping the public from getting the information they really need. But
Oh, yeah, all that interference that normally happens in Washington.
yeah, but there's definitely been a lot of interesting stuff going on in the government side of things. Like, we're having a lot of interesting interactions, especially with the fact that we're having things being observed from, like points of interest and conflict, like Israel versus in Palestine, for example.
Yeah,
So, there's a lot of new things going on. Kind of hard to distinguish what's what because everybody's kind of cloud in the air, if you get what I'm saying.
yeah,
But
I do.
yeah, how's the show been?
The show's been good. I mean, it's amazing what's happening, and the things that are really happening. I became less interested in things like Area 51. I already know everything everything I need to know. I already know. To me, that's my least interest now because uh, we've been having there's a whole storyline here that's for real that a friend of mine in Vermont, April, she does a live. We all met through TikTok at some point, and she's been actually we documented her experiences, and it's a whole nother level of contact. And you know me enough to know that for me, everything I share and the connections I make with people are very real. I don't. I always like to say on my show, I don't throw cards in the air. I don't have a pendulum. I don't have neon lights. I don't have like a crystal ball in front of me with a turban on or something. And so there's a group of us that are connected. I don't know if I ever told you this, but ever before the internet, I've been very connected with the thing called Ashtar, which has got a real history before the internet. Um, I've always had a connection to being off planet. I've been very upfront about being out of the closet about myself being from beyond Earth, and Mars, and the conscious understanding I have about different things. And with April and I and a few other people we met through the TikTok, and come to find out that I've always known this all my life, but to have people understand that we have biological mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles, that if we are open up enough to understand that we also have what we call a biological cosmic family, which is another family other than the one that we have here. It takes time for some people to absorb that reality, and I've always known that. So when we met April, who was on my live as a guest at one point last year, I didn't even know her. I didn't know half the people that I know now, like we know each other, and come to find out that we're all going to be going together at some point on a ship, and the people that I'm talking about are human. They're not like monsters or all this stuff that is promoted on the internet, which is really not the truth about the majority of what's out there in the universe. That we're going to be actually physically going on a spaceship, and some people, I mean, most people do now understand the story, and that there is a storyline to this, and we go about our normal lives, all of us. We don't, we're not like just leaving our lives. It just doesn't happen that way, nor should it ever. But we are going to be doing some stuff probably in less than a year for the first time on a physical level that I've never experienced. And so we're being very transparent. April's been very transparent about what's happening. She keeps us updated. We do a Saturday night special on this, and the space people have monitors in their ships. It's not like a big screen TV like you get a like a Samsung or something. They have monitoring systems, and they watch our show, and even now they watch our show through the monitoring systems, and they can hear everything that we do. And for some people, say, how is that possible? That would be that you would have to open your consciousness up enough to believe that it's possible that someone that is more advanced than you are has the ability to see everything through a monitoring screen that's happening. And if people can leap that jump, that's where we are. I mean, and we do the normal interviews, like I mean, what's normal on my show? But we do interviews, and forever, and we like to have people share whatever it is, and then people can make you know, their own conscious reflection of what's happening, and that's always been my way. It's to if I ever did it differently, I don't think my show would be what it is, as popular as it is. But that's what's been going on. That's been really a matter of fact. The other night, and Alicia, who's a friend of ours, she enhanced the audio. I was sitting on the air on the show and heard a woman's voice, and I've been knowing, that they can visit our cosmic family, can visit us, and come through what they call a rift. A rift is an opening from where they are to where we are, and it's like they can just come right in. And so the other night, I heard a woman's voice, young woman's voice, saying my Earth-based name, and then I heard it twice. Then I got up, and I was on live, and I went to the other room, and my wife was sleeping, my daughter was awake. I said, "Did you call me?" She said, "No." Then I started thinking quietly, "Oh, that might be what I have two sisters on this ship, a brother, mother, and father." So then I find out when I'm talking on our live with April, she's communicating on one of her other phones. They utilize it to listen to the conversation, and they can interact too as well. And so they said yes. The father, who is Robar, said, "Oh yes," and then April translated it. Oh yeah, they said that it was your sister. There's another story about that came to warn me that there was government and uh, other ETs trying to interfere with what I was doing here on TikTok, and the Ashtar Command knew where they were, and essentially what they did is they went in there. I never had any problems. I feel well protected always, but they went in there, and I was being warned about it. And then she went back probably to the ship. I have a feeling when I was going past my meditation room, what I talked about before, I think she was coming through Rift in there. I didn't go to look in that room. I went straight ahead into the kitchen, which is the next room past here. So that's what's up. That's actually kind of the short, long story, but that's probably been, the most significant thing that's happened. And plus, just all the great interviews with people that are sharing previous abduction experiences, people that have had not only abductions, but people that have had they're coming out and telling us that they're having contact now. They're having physical contact. I think that to me has been exciting to hear people's stories and people willing to come forward and speak. I say disclosure is us. If we wait for anyone to give us disclosure, we're going to be waiting a long time. So that's it in a nutshell. For me, most recently, that's the most significant thing for me that's been happening on the program, and me in general, and the program itself.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
Oops, let me turn my volume up. I
I
think my
understand that.
headphones are out.
I've had a I understand it's been pretty busy, but yeah, it's getting. Are there any questions you have for me or anything? I
Yeah,
totally
I
like to
do.
answer
I,
some things.
I,
It's
I do
just
have questions.
also I would
Uh,
like to plan a show ahead or something because
yeah,
it's
we
like
should
one
do
in the
that.
morning for me right now,
I
so
know it
I'm
is
really
late.
tired.
I just wanted to, and let's plan it out. Like, I won't keep you on here. I just want to let you come on and say hello. And I do want to plan it earlier than this. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking maybe if we can plan maybe a Sunday night or a Monday night at 11 in the Eastern time zone. If that's good for you, we'd love to have you, and we can have. I know there's a lot of questions I have about what's going on about in terms of not only what's going on in the front lines, a little bit with the what we've known about our own congressional representatives and how things have been kind of stopped in their tracks, but
Yeah.
also what things internally are going on that you're aware of that people don't know about in terms of what's happening like we can talk about contact. I think when you're more awake, what you're getting about what I already know to be that's something that's going to be happening. What how the government's reacting internally, the people involved in watching this, what is their sense, and what are they preparing for when there is contact? What are they preparing for? I think people are we're seeing an increase of UAPs, or I call spaceships, non-terrestrial spaceships. So I'm curious as to what you understand and what you're getting out of that.
Well, so one thing I can say for sure, and I think it's like the most notable thing, is there's a lot of infighting, and it's not just any just congressional representatives. There's a lot of infighting among the intelligence committee and community, especially different um, intelligence agencies. Specifically people like the NRO, the National
Hmm.
Reconnaissance Office, right? The DIA. The CIA even. A lot of these people are disagreeing on how some of these interactions are being held with UAPs, specifically because we have, a lot of different classification levels for how we're classifying these things.
Yeah,
Don't think like security clearance or anything. Think
yeah.
about how you would categorize them, right?
Hmm.
And so there's no official system to report these. So there's a lot of confusion. On top of that, there's really no office that takes reports, right? Especially from um, a whistleblower's
Yeah,
point of view. And so a lot of these people aren't safe. So there is no information getting out. There were 24 um, somewhat people that went to the inspector and gave him valuable credentials. Back around last year when the House to Armed Services committees were holding their hearings for David Grush and all them, and since been kind of put to an end because of agenda. They won't hold another meeting.
mm,
They won't grant them access to SCIFs. Um, so it's really unfortunate. Uh, Kind of stuff that's being kept, and it's really easy to hide it, especially when there's a lot of other geopolitical issues going on right now. So now it's
yeah,
kind of falling back on the tracks, and it's there's not a lot that one person can do to get the issue out. So it's just kind
right.
of hit a point where something significant is going to happen or come out that's
Yeah.
official and shouldn't have come out for it to gain momentum again.
Yeah,
Um,
and isn't it interesting, Shai, and I'm sure you're aware of this, and I've been watching this when the Pentagon created their own organization within, and I once in a while I'll go onto that website that they have up, and I don't see significant changes in terms of new information or like groundbreaking information where the public is getting things that are going to be transparent. And it seems to me that was like a whole show, everything with the hearings and all that. That was like you thought there was a movement going on within, but there seems to be everything, like I said, has been stonewalled. And even the organization that created, I don't see a whole lot of things that are going to be saying to the public, here we are, we're being honest with you. Here's what's really going on. Do you see that to be the case? That's just my
yeah,
observation.
that seems to be the opinion right now. And also, there's kind of been quieting down. I mean, we've gotten more protocol on how to handle situations. Um, but as far as people discussing them or this information, you know, being, even brought to public light, it just seems pretty dim. I'm gonna be
Mm,
honest, from
yeah.
my perspective, it honestly seems like it's gotten more strict.
Oh,
So
absolutely. When you thought it was opening up, remember we talked about it, how exciting we thought it was going to be that we're going to have these really public things happening and there wasn't going to be anybody stonewalled. And I said this, and I always had this inner feeling like, okay, this sounds really good. But I think again, the powers that want to keep the narrative under control are going to try to control it for another 70 years. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're not going to be able to do that. Again, it goes back to and I want to know your perspective about what I do understand. That I think these people that have the clearance to understand that they must be monitoring what's coming from space. I know that they have the ability to monitor what's coming inbound to our planet, correct?
Yes, that I mean that's true. Yeah.
So
Um,
what do you think about that? Basically, what I'm saying, without going hedging it, is that are they aware of a lot of inbound coming beyond space right now that's increasing?
are you asking if there's been like an increase on
Yeah.
what we're detecting coming into geosynchronous orbit, or
Yeah,
like
about spaceships or what we call UFOs or UAPs, like an increase, a dramatic increase starting to happen of non-terrestrial craft from beyond Earth.
there have been more UAP events? You know, I have to kind of watch my mouth. You know, I can't just like say everything, but there
No,
have
I know
been
that.
more. Yeah. It's pretty. I'm not gonna say significant. I mean, it's the same
Mhm.
rate. It's just
Right.
there's more things that are happening, especially in the commercial world,
Hmm.
that I think are, should be talked about. We've got some projects going on underwater specifically to target certain things that have been happening, and so I'm just saying that there's a issue, especially in certain paths along trade routes, for
Hmm.
example, with
Hmm.
commercial fishing vessels and
Hmm.
commercial aviation, safety concerns that really need to be handled pretty quick before something actually happens, and it's not pretty,
Now
it's on
we talk
track.
about safety concerns, and again, being the intelligent person that I am, and I'm not saying that I'm like super duper intelligent, but when I hear things like that, um, if there are things happening underwater, and you're mentioning fishing boats and so forth, I know in the oceans and seas, my contact many years ago, back in times when I went to this UFO conference, this English gentleman, he used to be with the British intelligence, and he told me, I didn't even know who this guy was. I ended up speaking out of the blue moon at a large UFO conference, which I wasn't supposed to be speaking at, and he tells me down the road, he said that naval intelligence. He said to me, and I would never have done this. He said, "Oh, just go down to naval intelligence in Washington. Just walk in, like you can just walk in and you can get information." I said, "There's no way I'm doing that. Number one, you don't just walk in, like he's saying, oh, just walk in." And this guy was retired, but he was with in the intelligence community over in England. And I said, oh, thank you. I mean, I got to have trust with him, and I knew this person. So, in terms of the naval intelligence, the Navy and naval intelligence, I know this for a fact, have seen more UAPs over the years than most other departments regarding UAPs coming out of the water, going into our oceans. Which if people really would focus on that, that happens to be an accurate thing. That is, I don't know if it's increased now. When you mentioned the fishing boats, is this in relationship to the things that are in the water? Are we talking about uh, UAPs in the oceans and seas that are becoming more prevalent from what you just said?
Yeah, that's I mean, yeah. And not only that, there seems to be more interest in um human, I don't want to say human matter, but
Mhm.
in the ways that we're interacting, so fishing vessels, military points of interest,
Right.
points of infrastructure,
Hmm.
um, more rural areas, historic sites. And there doesn't seem to be that boundary that there was a year ago. It seems to be getting a little bit more bold. If you're kind of picking up what I'm saying, the things
Yeah, I
that we're
already know.
seeing
Yeah,
need to
I
be
know
talked about.
exactly what you're saying.
Um, So when we're seeing that, then it becomes an issue, and infighting becomes a thing because these people in their districts are receiving videos and photos of this happening, right? In their commercial trade routes
Mhm.
or their districts, whatever it may be. And they're seeing this and then they get worried. And so some people don't
And
like this, as you talked about, and some do. And the people that don't are going to outweigh the people that do.
yeah, but you know what? Even if the people that don't want the fact that these, and I'll be very clear about it, that there are what I call space bases that are within the oceans around our Earth that are not space bases of our own government. These are space bases that are of non-terrestrial origin, and I'll put it in that way for people that don't understand what that is. Essentially, they do exist, and I think that is something that our governments kind of, well, the governments involved in the UAP area, the ones that are in secretive knowledge of this, they know that this is real. They know that this is something. I'm not sure how long the government has been aware of it, the world governments or whatever, and that inner level of understanding. But obviously, they're aware that there are these bases that are space bases that have been within the deep depths of our planet in the oceans, and they're concerned about it. Well, they should be, because the people that they're concerned about these space bases that have people living within the surface of the within the oceans, and I believe that's what they're concerned about.
I wouldn't be able to get into the
You
specifics.
don't have to. I already know the answer, but I just wanted to throw it out to you. Could you just say yay or nay on what I just said?
Well, that is kind of specific, right?
I know it's very specific. You know me, I'm always very black and white. You know me for all this time. Do I ever mince
Yeah.
my words?
No, that's true. I just don't think I can answer that one.
Okay.
I will
I'll take
say,
I take a no answer as a possibility that I'm on the right track.
there you go. I will say that there has been effect to um, the civilian population, regarding specifically TBIs, traumatic brain
Hmm.
injuries.
Hmm.
Um, Having a lot of issues with those. People just uh, having some pretty bad effects. We saw it in fighter pilots,
Mm.
uh, and we didn't think that it would be as big of an issue as it's become, and it's kind of started to become a bigger issue, especially
Hmm.
when a commercial flight was affected. Um, so it's it, again, people are fighting over whether they're gonna what they want to do and if they want this information to be public.
Hmm. It's kind of funny in a way, isn't it, that they're fighting over this internally, yet people, I'll use my show because it's the only way I can do this, come public on my show, tell us direct stories that they're being affected or they have been abducted. They get very, very specific about their abduction stories. I feel sorry for the people that have been through that. I knew a gentleman named Bud Hopkins who wrote many books about abductions, and he was a hypnotist who hypnotized and specialist. He was specializing in people with abduction stories. And there was John Mack, who's no longer around, from Harvard. He also had been very instrumental in those kinds of things. Now we see people that are having abductions. I'm sure you've read some of the stories in history of our current history of people that have had dramatic abduction stories, and I've had them here that had negative encounters, or people that had the opposite thing. I've had people on here telling about being visited by space people and giving every detail to that effect. Now, um, I am certain, without even you saying yes or no, that the people in the know within the levels of knowledge within Department of Defense that deals with this, I'm sure they're aware that there are people having these interactions right now, even.
And so what? So be more specific on the interaction, like
Interactions like they're actually being physically visited. Now, the abduction scenario, historically, from all the stories I've heard from people on here, even the last couple of weeks, I've been to more people that have been abducted, and not recently, maybe in 2003, maybe in the 90s. That I asked some very specific questions. When did it happen? That's I want to know the backstory of that person's experience. And a lot of these people had very specific remembering of that they were taken. Some people were put on a table. We've heard those stories where they put on a table and they the abduction people, the space beings, or the reptilians, they'll say, or the Zeta, they say, have abducted them. They have detailed memory of what they looked like. So we're talking about those kinds of abductions, not like a human. Although
I
some stories I've heard were both human. They said they saw humans along with these Zeta working along them, and they were abducted by these ETs on the negative side. So that's what we're more or less specifically talking about.
Yeah, I know of a couple interesting encounters. I mean, um, 2022 there was a development facility in New Mexico, um, and it had an interaction with a I don't. It wasn't really a thing. It was. just aura, right? Like it had a glow to it. It was
Hmm.
blue. And we
Hmm.
talked about this last time. There's a French
Yeah.
contact team that was having experiences with orbs of light. It's a pretty
Yeah.
similar thing, but it had like a barbell shape, right? Um, it had the length of a football field supposedly,
Yeah.
and there was a couple that had seen it, and that were camping uh, off of a hunting trip path, and it was pretty interesting. But that's the only thing I know of recent that's
Yeah.
public at least. Um, you know, I know that for a fact had effects on the power grid.
Yeah.
A couple people lost power, and I heard talks that it had like enough power to supposedly power a small city. You know, so um,
Yeah. I would say that's possible too, based
it,
on that story.
I mean, you know, backup and stuff happened. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's just the thing is, it's getting way too close to military points of interest that it's becoming a threat to us. And there was a strict no interaction policy as of recent, but that's kind of like gone downhill. Um,
Well, there's no
Specifically because
interaction.
everything's been more tense. You know, we have war games
Hmm.
going on with Russia,
Hmm.
military movement just happening near us. You know, everybody's been freaking out about the close coast of Florida stuff. That's nothing.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
But
That's almost what I've seen. I don't watch a lot of
yeah,
news, like me personally, but I do understand that to be what you're
yeah,
talking
I
about.
get the scares. It's just, you know, it's
Yeah.
just this all this stuff is going on, and now, you know, all these accounts are kind of getting shoved up under the rug, especially with pilots. You know, border patrol agents had a interaction, and that's just kind of been swept under the rug. You know, it's so there's not a lot of issue, especially on people that are actually dealing and handling this issue every day.
Hmm.
But I would totally love to give some more specifics whenever I'm, you know, more awake. I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
was just on a
I'm not
focus.
going to keep you on here because I came on late myself, and I actually went right out. I mean, after watching this thing, I must have been really tired. It's been a long week, and I said, "Oh no!" And I decided to be on at 11. I wasn't on 11, so I apologize for that. But
No, that's totally okay. We'll get something set up and
yeah,
we'll make it work.
and the wake will work, and then we'll really get into some real disclosure stuff when you're more awake and so forth. But it's been nice having you back on the show, and I appreciate that. And we'll schedule more regularly,
Yeah.
as we have things to
I
do.
think a
And
lot of people are also like confused about my credentials. I'm looking at the chat here, and I'm really off put right now. I'm just really tired. So
yeah, no,
we'll make it more
yeah,
formal and professional.
we'll be more formal. I tried to be as professional as I possibly can, even in this state of consciousness. But I know you're a little bit tired, so get some rest. I'll message you. I'll look at my private messages, and we'll pick another night to do this earlier.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me on. Have a good
All
night.
right, take care in your new location. We're gonna let her go. Let me do this here, and that's just a little bit of my friend. I'm shy. I'm shy is with the Department of Defense. She's in a high level, and so we talked a little bit about some stuff. But we're gonna have her on, and we'll get more into more specific things. We're gonna plan a specific night when we'll have her on at 11, and we'll get really into the nitty gritty. Hey, hey, April, good to see you. We'll definitely get into it. There's a lot going on, and I do believe the government understands that there are. When I got specifics, when she brought it up about our oceans and the fishermen over the seas and everything about stuff happening in our oceans, I think a part of that is related to the fact that we do have space cities and bases. I'm going to bring up April, and I was off planet for a while. I mean, I said off planet. I was sleeping. I had planned to come on at 11. I just was right out. So tomorrow night's our Ashtar Command special on Saturday.
Hi, everybody.
Sister, how are you?
Good. I am real good. It was nice that she's back. To get some confirmation on that. It was fantastic. I've seen it, witnessed it. I've seen the effects that this has had on different beings, and I am
Mm.
so glad that we got some confirmation on it from somebody from the that's official.
Yeah, that was definitely information that was revealed that the people within the Department of Defense that deal with that specific area, she confirmed it without really going too heavily, deeply. But when we have her on, we're gonna have her on probably. I'm gonna try to get her on Sunday night or Monday night. I'll be messaging her, and we'll have more of a very specific discussion for people that don't know who she is. She's a friend of ours. She's been a friend of ours since last year, and just like everything else falls into place, like April is it's like a sister, and I mean because we have connections with our space family off planet. I'm Shia is like a really I consider a dear friend of the show, and it's funny how people come together on this show. And she is a friend of ours, but she also works in the Department of Defense. She travels to different locations, undisclosed locations, and she's been a real blessing. And we respect her. And we got on. She was willing to come on, and it was a little bit later than we had thought. So we're going to be having her come on again. But she did confirm about the activity in the oceans with the fishing boats and even other boats of things in the oceans. And those things, without getting too specific, I do believe they're monitoring. Um, I call it spaceship USO. Is a term used, but spaceship activity within our oceans. And I think that their concern is the government's concern is that it's getting very real. That there's she said the same amount of activity coming to Earth is still happening, but I think that's going to all shift because I was trying to tell a little bit about April's experiences, and I did get a little bit into that, and I think more and more. I think when she comes on the next time, I'm going to dig into her a bit about a lot of different things regarding what they're seeing on the levels of what they're monitoring in terms of spaceships coming to Earth. I think there's a lot going on within the governments of the world that they're all like kind of aware of what's happening. That there is more significant activity of spaceships around our planet and with our oceans, and I think they're very very much aware of it.
We just had where we were I cannot talk tonight. While we were waiting for you to come on, we went outside for a little bit, and we were out there with the spaceship that we call Bluey, and I asked for the driver of the ship for his name, and he gave us his name. His name is Anthony. Um, Anthony, that's the driver of Bluey, and he actually put his arm out several times out of the ship and waved to us on the live, like everybody that's here now, because we came over here to watch I'm Shy, and to be on your show, and everybody witnessed the spaceman put his arm outside of Bluey and waved to us, giving us confirmation.
Yeah,
So that was really cool.
yeah,
But I'm so glad that she confirmed that, because it's like it's so important that people know that this is going on, because there is being so much damage done because of what they've done. There really
yeah.
has. And I hope that when she comes back, that we can get into a little more of what she knows, because that would be awesome to get some kind of confirmation from somebody else, so, that knows that these things are happening. I know that she knows a lot more, but she can't get. I mean, people have to
Right,
realize she can't get herself into trouble.
right.
But and she's got to worry about her safety and
Oh
whatnot.
yeah, it does.
But the commander, he'll pry as far as he can.
Oh, well, and I'll get Shy to tell us stuff, and usually the way I'll do it, because of the intelligence that I have within my own intelligence, is that I have a way of getting the answers from her without jeopardizing her security at all. And it does, and it always tonight she was just tired. I can understand she was tired. I obviously came on later, but when we have her on, we're going to really ask her questions to pull out information that is not public, and in a way that that we can I always have a way of getting the questions in there to get a yes or no answer, so I can she knows that, and people always know about me on this show. You'll never see me be wishy-washy about anything. I'm always black and white about what I ask questions to people. I always go very, and April knows this, I'm very direct about everything.
Yes, yes, you are, and you're direct, but you're gentle about it, which is
I'm gentle about it.
yeah, which is great because it's like you're respectful, but you're gonna get your answer.
I'm going to get my answer, and I'll be gentle about it. The gentle interviewer. And so, you know, uh, our friend, I'm shy, knows a lot of things that are going on. She has a clearance level that's pretty high up there. So when we have her back on, we will take your
Commander,
question.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna hop down for 2 seconds because I got to make sure that the Bluetooth and everything is off because people are
Oh,
hearing an echo.
oh yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay. I'm gonna let April step down. Let me question here. April will be back up. She's just checking her things. Thank you, Yaya. You hold a little class with your questions. You inquisitive, yes, yes. I think with in general and just with I'm shy, especially when talking to I'm shy. I always very specific, but I don't want to get her into any trouble. But I also know that we're here to, and she knows we're here to get information that the public doesn't know about what the government knows about UFOs or about non-terrestrial beings or what's going on within. And like I said, the government has been our government and old world governments have basically been liars. I've told you this, folks, for a long time, that I've watched the progression of the hearings in Washington, and we talked about what I'm shy just earlier when she was on, that there's been a stonewall, and there are people that are in high places that don't want these politicians to pursue this. Not tomorrow night, TikToker. We're going to schedule her on probably. I'm going to try to maybe get her on Sunday or Monday night. We are going to work out the schedule for her, and she will be on one of the nights. Tomorrow night is our Ashtar Command night. We do Ashtar Command night on Saturdays. April and I, and also we will have our space family monitoring and viewing the show, and we'll have questions for our space family that you can ask them tomorrow night. But when April's on here, even now, they also are watching the show on their monitors on the spaceships off planet. So there's a lot going on, and you know, I know a lot of things. Like I said, I'll ask on Shy many specific questions when I have her back on, and we'll get either yay or nay on the answers. And then if she can give us specifics, we'll certainly get specifics from her regarding that. And as she was saying earlier, there's a lot of things that are being surfaced, like things happening, the tensions around the world that are happening right now, and those tensions. Greg says he had top secret information. What is Greg? Let's see. Greg, are you with us? Let's see. Greg said he had top secret information. Only on nuclear technology. Oh, it's only on nuclear technology. Okay. That, yeah. But in terms of the front of things that we deal with here, there's a lot of things going on the surface that are kind of sideswiping people from what's happening with the space things and with the spaceships and all this other stuff going on. There's a lot of I don't watch a lot of news for a lot of reasons because it sensationalizes the negativity. The news is always negative, and I think that is something people have to be very, very careful of. Is when you watch your news wherever you live around the world, don't get too sucked into the news because they amplify the negative. The news is always amplifying the negative, and if you go by that, you're going to think the whole world is being gobbled up by the negative. Just don't believe it because it's all sidetracking people from what's going on. That's why this show's here, because while they're doing all that garbage, trying to tell people the Russians are near Guantanamo Bay with their ships, they're making it look like the end of the world's going to happen, and it's not. They just want to keep people fear-based news. That's what the news does. The news media never, ever talks about the fact that there are are things happening with spaceships or UFOs or whatever. They don't even talk about that. The regular timeline of news is the same stories 7 days a week. So think about it. And once in a while, maybe they tell a story about someone who crashed a vehicle or a tornado that hit a city and destroyed all the homes. The typical, and that's terrible to see a tornado destroying somebody's town. But the news cycle is always the same. Wherever you live around the world, if you track the news cycle of your national news in your country, it's always going to be the same thing every day, no different. The same thing every day. Why is that? Why don't they talk about this stuff? Why? Why don't they have a segment, like when they do all the stories about, different things happening with people in in the world? It's always the same doom and gloom stuff every day. Every day. If you had me on Good Morning America and he had me talking about this, see how long I'd be on live for maybe 5 minutes. They cut me right off because I tell people the truth. And I'd be saying, oh, ABC News, why aren't you ever talking about this stuff? Why are you always talking about the same things every day, all the negative stuff every day, and never talking about this? Because this is significant things to talk about, right? So it's really important to understand the narrative of the news media around the world is to essentially control the public with fear-based news every day. Every day. So turn off the TV. I mean, I watch my local news channel for local news, but I really noticed that the national news of one's country is always the same cycle of negative, fear-based stuff all the time. All the time. And, I get more being a talk show host talking about and being a contactee and having the experiences I have. I am humbly grateful that I'm able to do what I do here to wake up humanity and let people know that there's things going on. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Drainage, for the roses. There are things going on that are so much more important than the garbage on the news. Okay, and so it's important for people to realize that's happening, and I think many of you do. So don't get sucked into the amplification of negative news cycles in your country, because that's what it is, essentially. That's what's happening. And it's apparent why it's happening. And Amshai talked about it a little bit, the news cycle. And people need to not get sucked into the negativity of the news cycle. You would think that with the Russians so close with their Navy ships and near Cuba, that the whole world's going to fall apart, right? This is the fear-based news that we see all the time. I think April's got the other phone out here. Let's see here. So we get April back there. So I want people, hey, James, good to see you. People need to be very aware that the world media, and it's really very easy to tell if you study news. I mean, my background in college was I learned how to do news when we had big reels of tape and had to splice tape to do a news story or whatever. And if you watch a news cycle in your country, you can tell me the same thing. It's always the same thing every day. Like Good Morning America, it's always at the end of their 2-hour period, they have some famous author on, or they have an actress on or something, and it's all fluffy wuffy. And then, in the early part of the news cycle, the same stories about conflict in the same countries and about sending more weapons to Ukraine. It's always the same cycle, day in, day out. There's nothing new, nothing different. They don't ever talk about what we're talking about. They never will, because if they were truly independent news people, they would have probably, I'm sure they get information regarding UFO sightings or something like that, but many times they don't talk about it. It's one of those things where the people that control these channels actually never really talk about this stuff. We get more information from people around the world on my show here than you're ever going to see ever, if anything, on any international news channel in your country regarding this subject. So my point is, just there's a lot of that going on, and we have to be more focused on, thank goodness, I'm here to focus on contact. I'm here to focus on interacting with people who have had, contact with fairies, mer people, Bigfoot, people that have had positive interactions with our space people from other planets. And we've even interviewed over time people that have been abducted and helped those people that have been abducted 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it is. The difference between me and Good Morning America is that we are here to disclose and bust the matrix and tell the truth of what's really going on. Because I have a background in news media, I critique what I see on the news, and it's always the same garbage the next day, the next day, the next day. And you know what? If you keep watching it, you might believe it, that's what's going on. You might really believe it. And welcome back, April. You're on a different phone now?
Yeah, I had to switch phones and make sure
Yes.
that everything was off so it wasn't echoing.
Oh, yeah, good. Good. But
So
it's
that's
just
okay.
that's what I'm sorry, I alluded to it a little bit about the news cycle, the way what we see on the news. And a lot of what we are hearing is basically cover stuff that is not letting people know the truth of what's going on, like in our oceans and things that are happening with UAPs or spaceships. I prefer spaceships as my terminology. The stuff that's happening is happening. And, I think the government, and I'm going to get into this whether when I have her scheduled on here, is that how is the government dealing with the fact that there's going to be contact? Are they freaking out? Are they afraid? My own internal opinion on this is that the government is freaking out because they really don't know what to do. They have no control over specifically what we're talking about. Like April and myself, as an example, I'm going to use the four of us. The five of us. Well, the four of us that haven't been on the ship yet with April, that we're a prime example of something that's going to physically happen at some point within the next probably 12 months. And when it happens, you know, the government has no control over it. They don't control it. They don't control the narrative. They don't control the narrative that April has been going on a spaceship with her and with her family and been in meetings with people in councils on the ship. The government doesn't want people to know these things. The government doesn't want any people to know the truth. And they're I think they're afraid of the narrative of what's happening here is that we are going to be exposing things to help people in a positive way. And at some point, the government is going to have to be very open at some point, even though they don't want to, try to cover it up. You can't cover up what's going to happen. You can't cover up the changes that are happening. The government has no control over this narrative. The government has no control over what's happening with the five of us, with any of you that have had contact out there. I'm sure some of you have. They can't control it anymore. So they're freaking out. They don't know what to do. They're trying to have their governments, like Congress, the congressional hearings. I said, as far as I was concerned, they meant nothing to me because the same thing is happening, which is trying to control the information, not going public. And the people that depend on the government for information are also depending on the government to come clean about the whole thing of UFOs and life elsewhere in the universe. They're not going to do it. I've stated this before. I've been very clear about this. The intention of the government is to cover up this whole subject, and they can't do it. They're not going to be able to stop what's going to happen. So they're freaking out. They're trying to figure out ways to do it. We have a train going by, which we're near a railroad station track. So, but they just don't know how to do it. The choo-choo train, you hear it, Carolyn, but they don't know how to do it. And right now it's really important to know that they don't control anything anymore. They don't control us. They don't control you. They control absolutely nothing. They don't. They don't control anything. They want you to think they do, but they don't. That's the truth.
And that is the truth too. They have absolutely no say in what is happening, and and I think you're right that they're starting to freak out a little bit because they don't have a choice now. They were given a choice a long time ago whether to accept these beings' help, and they chose wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They chose technology over the help that these beings wanted to offer. So now they don't have a choice. Now they're coming, and they're coming to help our planet. You
Yeah.
know.
And not only that, you know, um, we're always where we're supposed to be. Like, and again, when I think about my mission work before I came on TikTok, I've always been very dedicated, even on Facebook, to the cosmic truth and sharing the cosmic truth, and that to me was always first and foremost in my belief systems coming here, and especially being trained in news media by some of the best people in my college days from Pacifica Radio in New York. I was guided about how you proceed to receive news that you see and how you ask questions. And from the perspective of me, from where I am, when I ask people questions, I'm always very direct about it. I just see through things. And I very clearly see that the government wants to, the part of it that's involved in this cover up, there definitely is infighting between the younger generation and the older generation. But I also understand, Sarah, thank you to Har. I understand that there is definitely divisions, and I think we'll talk about that with April when we have. I mean, with April, like you're in the government, but we'll talk about that with Shai when we have Ron. And I think it's really important to know there is divisions between those that want the disclosure within the government and those that want to keep it covered up. But the problem is, when they're covering it up, they think they can actually cover it up. How are you going to cover up a bunch of spaceships that start to appear in the skies above Earth and say, "Oh, and then they start stuttering. They say, "Oh, well, you know what I mean." So they're not going to be able to stop what's coming, and we'll keep pursuing telling you the truth here on this show that there's going to be contact, and the more that the government tries to cover it up and silence any information regarding it, they can't silence it. They can't stop it. They have no control over it. They might as well just retire and give up, essentially. And I don't even care if
They
they're a
can't.
five-star general.
They can't stop it from happening. And the great thing is, Commander, is that our 15 groups of 5 are going to be right there in the front lines. Making sure that the contact happens in a positive way. And we're going to be right there making sure that that happens. And this is a great thing about these groups that they have chosen. You
Yeah.
know.
And people, like I said, each group of 5 will have will have a person like an April for an analogy. Like the April might be a guy or a girl, it doesn't matter, but just the word April, an April in that person's country or wherever they are, they could be in a remote part of the mountains of China for all I know. There's going to be that one person, and they won't be able to stop any of these groups anywhere in the world. This is well organized. This is the Ashtar Command people and the councils could have never organized a strategy as good as David created this strategy. And I'm using April as part of that strategy, whether it be me or April, whoever it would have been. It's a beautiful strategy that you have one key person per country and you have 4 more people that connect with each other with that person that are supposed to connect. And in the 15 groups, there's not going to be any way that the governments can stop the 15 groups from speaking to people on social media, because we're going to be giving people information that's honestly direct. We're going to be giving information that's not channeled or that, is our opinions or our thoughts. It's going to be stuff that we come back with off the spaceship where we're taken to see things, to be understand what's going on. We'll be I'm pretty certain when we get to go on the council meetings as a group, not just April, but when we all come together as a group and they have us in the meetings, they're going to teach us and give us information that they want us to bring back to Earth to share with you all over the world,
Well,
not just this group.
I got some great news for you. I was gonna wait until tomorrow night to share this with you, but I just can't because I'm like a horrible little kid with news.
Okay,
I gotta come. I gotta tell you.
now you got me.
So
Go ahead.
I had talked to you. I had been talking with the whole group um, about about you being on the forefront of doing one live broadcast when contact does happen, as far as like the news media and all that, and they think it's a great idea. They really do. They think it's a great idea that one person be in charge of the news broadcast of that. And I had talked to them and threw your name into the ring for that. And because those were my thoughts of bringing that up, was to, because, we had mentioned this before and it was kind of in the back of my mind. So I brought it up with them when we were in meeting, and they think it's a great idea that they have one person that does the broadcasting when the worldwide contact does happen, and they're leaning towards it being you doing that.
Oh wow. Well, I'm humbly grateful. I mean, to me, I'm just like I've always been in my life as since I've become awakened to just do the mission work, whether it be on doing live or just in general in my life. So I'm honored and humbled by that.
They think it's a great idea. They really do. They think that that could be a really good part of your contributing into when contact happens. So
Mm.
they're in the midst of talking about it. So we'll have more information about that in the next week. And but I wanted to let you know that I threw it out there, and they're
Mm.
discussing it. They are seriously discussing this amongst themselves, about having one person do a worldwide broadcast, and they're talking about it being you.
And in terms of the worldwide broadcast, I know this is all brand new to me, and I'm very humble and thankful that you brought it up to the councils on the ship. When they say worldwide, now I know TikTok is worldwide, so are the
I don't know. They're talking about it. I don't know how what's
yeah
going
I
to come out of
once you
it,
don't
but they'll as I know more, you will know more. But I brought it up, and I was like, this is a really great idea that he had come up with, because it's got to be broadcast, and we don't want it to be these phony balonies who have been
mhm,
spewing
mhm,
out lies. We want it to be somebody that we trust, and somebody that has become familiar with people, and somebody that is humble, and I said I want to throw my brother's name into the ring. I said I personally would like to see him be the one to do this broadcast, and your dad chimed in. Of course, your dad was like all for it, and
yeah
mom was in there and she was all for it, and then my parents, of course, they're for it,
yeah
and they sit for on the council, so now they're all in talks about it. So
oh interesting
cross our
interesting
fingers that this is gonna really happen.
yeah I'm gonna cross. I thank you, April, as a sister, and
Absolutely. I
our
mean,
families are very
you are
close on the ship.
communications, and I think that there shouldn't be anybody else that should be doing this broadcast other than you. I don't think
Mhm.
anybody else should be doing it other than you.
I
That's
would
my
agree.
thoughts on it.
I agree. I've never thought of it, but I do agree with that. That yeah, I should be the one to do the broadcast because the way I handle people when I don't handle anything. The way I communicate with people on here, and I've dealt with all kinds of energy people with different things and stories that I am capable of handling from news background, and because I am a
Absolutely.
contactee, I have, and also because I'm with the Ashtar Command all my life, that brings a unique perspective for me to go on to talk to the whole planet about what's going to happen. You know?
Because there was a couple of talks that were happening now. Now we talked about you as far as doing the worldwide broadcast, and then there was the other talks that we were talking about was Johnny being the head of the medical facilities, him being the one to be in charge of distributing out the medical devices that are going to be coming to help us, the med beds and all the other equipment that's going to be spread around for people to be able to use. Johnny should I felt like Johnny should have been, since he's their head
Mm,
healer.
yeah,
I felt like he should have been in charge of that, and so now there's like a ball rolling, there's stuff happening,
yeah,
there's meetings happening around all this conversation, and they're really talking about this, like they're holding meetings on this. So I think this is great, and so this is where we're at right now as far as the medical devices and stuff that are going to be
mm,
distributed throughout the world, and then the mass communications, when contact does happens. I mean, it needs to be broadcasted, it does, and I can't think of a better person to do it than my brother. You're a humble person, you never hype on anything, and I think that you would be the perfect face for this.
yeah.
I
And the
really
thing
do.
is, I don't really know how to hype anything. I don't know. It's not in my nature. I'd have to be taught how to hype something. Yeah, and I just don't know how to do it. I don't know how to be, like I say. I'm always the same person you've seen me before when I first came on TikTok. I've not changed in terms of who I am, the way I operate, the way I do things. I'm not become like, I don't have a three-piece suit on, and I don't, I haven't changed and start talking differently like, hi, I'm CmdrAleon and welcome to Encounters. I don't talk like that. That'd be as fake as a $2 bill.
I
I
think
just
what
don't
they're
do it.
talking about doing is having you and two Ashtar Command people, two people standing alongside you while you're doing this broadcast would be like a really great idea. That way, you have two actual space people with you while this broadcast is
Yeah,
happening.
it would have
That
to
was
be that
my
way.
suggestion, at least. I
It
thought
would
that
have to
would
be
be
that
great.
way. Yeah, I know they're listening to the show.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to chime in and tell them right now on the ship that I agree with April. There would have to be two of our Ashtar Command people on the live when the broadcast happens with me, because that's the only people are going to understand. That's the way people on Earth are. They don't understand something unless
until
they
they
see
see
it.
it.
And
Right.
that I'm just telling them right now, as I'm
Very
chiming
great.
in, so watching the show, I would like that to be part of it. What April is stating, I think that would be the most powerful way of communicating with people. It would be myself and two other people from the ship being with me, next to me, and however this thing happens, I know for a fact, and Ashtar Athena, my friend Athena, had told me this, that if they want to, they could take over all the worldwide TV stations and broadcast on every network around the world. So people know this. I know this. I know.
My thoughts were as the proof is in the pudding. You know, if you had the two space beings standing behind you while you were doing the broadcast, that would have been like the perfect thing because then you would have actual space beings with you and then you doing this live broadcast and showing these ships coming in. You know, I just couldn't think of a better way for people to accept this and, you know, to see that these space beings are loving, good beings. They're standing alongside of you, they're peaceful, you know, and I couldn't think of a better way to go about, you know, broadcasting this for the people who like didn't have the space to be outside, or you know, maybe they weren't well enough, whatever the situation being, or maybe we're, you know, like a little too frightened yet to be outside, you know, who knows. But I'm thinking that what a great way to broadcast that these are good loving beings and to have a couple standing alongside of you while this was happening. But I was gonna save this for tomorrow night's show, but I just,
Oh
you know
well.
me, I got, or
Well,
I'm like a
we
little
can bring it
scared.
up tomorrow
Gotta
night
tell
too.
you.
The thing is that I agree, and I know that I'm speaking not just to audience here, but I'm speaking to our family on the spaceship who are watching this on monitor screens right now. For people that are watching the show here on TikTok, do you realize that our space family has monitor screens and they're watching the show on the spaceship? How many of you know this? If you don't, they are. They hear everything. They see every comment you're commenting on in here. They can see your comments. So the thing is, I agree with that. I think that is the way it should be.
Hmm.
If I have any say in it, and I hope I do, and I thank April for bringing it up, and my parents on the ship, Commander Robar and Luna, and your parents would like to see it. I'm sure others would like to see it on the ship, and I'd be honored and humbled to be the representative to speak before the world. I was going to say this before. This is
They're
what I was
saying
thinking.
we would. They
Who's
just
what?
answered. They just answered. They said we would.
We would be honored. Oh, thank you. And so she has another phone there, and she can hear them speaking on the other phone to her. So she's just relaying what they're saying to me because they can hear everything I'm saying right now to them. And so I'd be humbled to do that. And I'm not afraid. Obviously, I'm not shy. I'm pretty much, my background's media. The last thing I am is shy. And I would be most honored to represent our space families and people that are here to help the planet with the two that are selected to be with me, whoever they are, that the council decides to have um, when contact happens or when it's going to happen. I'll be honored to do that part of the mission too. Beyond the fact that we're all going to be going together on the ships to do other mission work, this is a very big deal. And if they decide to agree on it in the councils, I have, as you're listening to me on the ships, those that are part of that council, I think I'm definitely ready to step up to the plate and do this. I was going to say that the other thing is that I know this for a fact that the event in England that happened in 1977 with the Ashtar Command, when the ITN TV network in England had a broadcast coming from the spaceship of the Ashtar Command in the outer beyond Earth, they broadcasted to a very small area, but the fact is that the Ashtar Command has the ability when if we do this to broadcast on a global scale, I will say this to be true that we have the ability to take over all the TV broadcast networks all over the world, meaning that we'll be able to override every network on the planet, be it in Russia, China, the United States, all the networks. The command has the ability to what's the word for it? Has the ability to override any broadcast on any transmitter anywhere on the planet. Just so you know, I've never talked about this before, but I've known this for a very long time.
Yeah, yeah, they do. Just like I was saying last week was, we had an incident a few months ago where the government actually tried to butt into our broadcast when me and the commander were on live and we were having a contact night, and they were actually trying to infiltrate the show, and the man cut the whole show and stopped them from intervening into the show that we were having, and they stopped it. They stopped their communications. They stopped their trying to get break into to what we were doing on the live, and I thought that was really cool. These guys have such fantastic technology. They can stop all the broadcasts if they wanted to and just have the one broadcast going through, which, what I feel should be the commander with a couple of Ashtar Command people standing behind him while he's broadcasting. I think that would be a great way to show these ships for the people who don't have access to being outside when contact does happen, that these are good loving space beings, and that they are coming to help. And what better way to do it than have the commander, who's a humble man, have two loving beings with him, behind him, standing with him, and showing who these beings are. I can't think of a better person to do it. That's why I threw your name out there, and that's why I think it's a great idea, personally.
And
So and they're
TikTokers,
in talks about it. They think our parents think it's a great idea. Um, so now they're really in talks about it. So as we find out more information about it, I will definitely
yeah,
be keeping you informed with everything. As soon as I hear about it, you will.
yeah, and we'll probably know probably next 2 weeks we'll have more information
Oh
as
yeah.
they're discussing it. TikTokers saying when will worldwide contact happen in a lifetime? You're
They
looking
will
at
not
probably
tell us yet. They will
they
not
won't
tell
tell.
us. They do not want any problems when big contact does happen. It'll just happen.
Yeah. So they're not going to. So the updated information is to everybody out there. It makes sense that they don't tell anybody on here when it's going to happen exactly, because even though the government is not able to control this, if they have people on TikTok that are listening to this show or coming in here looking like they're regular people, they might be listening here for one reason to see if we reveal any information about specific dates. Like, okay, they're going to land a ship over in China in the mountains of whatever. We're not going to give them the government satisfaction of knowing anything we're doing, other than the fact is we're being very transparent. And I will say this: there'll be contact happening. I'll use the word soon, but not like tomorrow. But it definitely is going to be happening a lot sooner than you think. But we can't give any specifics, nor will our space families on the ship. They're going. When it happens, it's going to surprise every single person on this planet, and it's not going to happen 10 years from now or 20 years from now. It is going to happen soon, but we're not. We don't have, and they're not giving us divulging a specific date, which makes sense because if they do that, then the government's going to be looking for their ships, and that's the one thing we're not going to let the government have the satisfaction of is knowing when the spaceships are going to reveal themselves in the skies around the planet. We're not going to do that to them. Well, they're not going to do it either.
No, no, and
And we
so
have no power over
it's
that.
our
Then we're not
jobs.
doing anything.
It's not just our five, but us five, but it's everybody's job in this chat. Everybody's job is to start enlightening the next person, start letting people know that contact is going to happen, and that these are loving beings, that these are good beings, and they are coming to help. You guys have been watching the show. You guys know everything we know.
Yes,
You guys have been
absolutely.
following our five story, and this is something that needs to be shared, with everybody. And so it's your guys' jobs as light workers, as healers, as just being good people, to start sharing this news with other people. I know I'm doing it at my own job. I'm talking about this, and people believe, they want contact to happen, and I could not believe how many people just at my job alone really do believe in all of this. And I haven't told them exactly the whole story, but
Yeah.
we've been talking about contact, and I can't believe, like, straight across the board, every single person that was in my lunchroom um really want contact to happen. They want help to come. They believe in these beings, and they know that they're here. There's so many people that believe now. And this is good. These are good things that are happening. This is good stuff, guys, and it's up to all of us to keep making sure that this news gets out there.
Yeah, it's really important. And X Goddess asked, does everybody have a space dad? Yes, and a space mom. It's just that you haven't met them yet. Like I had people asking me earlier on the comments, do I have a biological mother and father? My mother and father on Earth, they passed away about less than 10 years ago, about 10 years ago. And so they're no longer here. In terms of that level of parenting, I don't have my parents on Earth anymore. They have gone on to wherever they are now. They're just enjoying wherever they are. But now, and I've always known this, even when I had my Earth-based parents, that I must have parents off planet because I didn't come from Earth. I came here with Earth-based parents that I became part of a family of. But before I came here, I had my family off planet, but I never knew who they were. And now I do. They actually probably were as much trying to find me as I was wondering where they were. And it's an interesting story for those that are new to my program. Again, it goes back to coming on from Facebook to TikTok, deciding to do this kind of a program, and then having people on as guests. And April was a guest on my show, just like any other person being a guest. I had no idea that she was going to be she was being taken off planet, and that the people on the ship were both her parents and my cosmic parents. Now, how amazing is that? That through this technology, through this social medium, that happened. And everything happens for a reason. I totally believe it in my life. There's everything happens for a reason. You know how you probably in your own lives, folks, that things happen in your lives, you say, you know what? Everything happened just the way it was supposed to happen. This kind of thing happened with April, myself, and Johnny, and Chesno, and Kit Kat organically. It just was an organic thing. And then we find out that my parents are on a spaceship with the command, and that then I learned their names. And I have two sisters, and one of my sisters came to warn me a few nights ago, came into my house in probably another room through a rift. I didn't get to see her because I was focused on the kitchen, and she called my name twice. I posted it and I thank Alicia. She did the work on the enhancing of the audio, and my space sister somehow knew my first name, my Earth biological name. She uses my name twice, and she was warning me about something with the government and negative ETs trying to infiltrate what I was doing. And they have not been able to. So here I am. This command took care of that in a nanosecond.
Oh, yeah, they
Um,
know your real name. They've been following you your whole life. They have been there with you through everything you've been through. They've been there watching over you.
yeah, you
This I
know,
do know,
yeah,
and if you guys don't know, it's not just our group of five either, guys.
right,
There's 15 of our groups. There's 15 groups of 5 across the whole world that are doing this, and actually, because of Commander's show, 2 other groups have started to find each other
Yeah.
because of the Commander's show. We have Deborah's group, and there was another person. I can't remember what his name was now for the life of me, but
Yeah.
there
Another
was another
person
person that was part of another group of 5 over, what was it, Japan or something like
in
that?
Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, that started to, find their group of 5 as well, and it was all thanks to the Commander show, you know? Um, so I'm just, I'm
Mm.
just humbled that, I have been blessed enough to have these people in my life, because not only did I grow up with these people off planet, I'm talking about the Commander, Kit Kat, Johnny, and Chesno. Not only, do I know them on planet, but
Mhm.
we're very close knit off planet, and
Yeah.
now we're close knit on planet too.
Yeah.
There's
It's
no jealousy or anything between any
no.
of us. We are all very, very tightly knit together,
Oh, yeah,
and we
and
are all the best of friends. You won't tell me that Commander is not my brother. I don't care what
yeah.
you say. You're not going to tell me that's not my
You know,
brother.
and Chesno, like I really feel like a bond with Chesno when I met him at
Yes,
our Skywatch. I said
same.
I known this person some other way. I love Chesno. He's a beautiful person. I feel like whenever he's on here, I know he's busy. I'm pretty sure he's busy. That I love to interact with him because he's just a beautiful person.
He really
Um,
is.
you know, and so there's a thing with us. I have no ego. Like there's no ego in me. The only thing I care about is the cosmic truth and getting people prepared, which is part of what I've been trying to do all my life, even before I was on social media. That in my workshops, preparing people for the day that contact would happen, and I think it's really imperative that people understand so that it's better to turn off all the news on TV now because it's going to side swipe you from the truth. And I think it's really imperative that people do meditation. I can't stress enough how people should meditate, go within and focus on inner reflection, uh, uh, inner upping the vibrational patterns of your body and your consciousness, because that's really going to be important now. Everything else in the world, all the fear-based news, is not important. uh, Having world peace is, it's the devastation of human lives that are killed in different parts of the world, including in the Middle East. That needs to stop. So many innocent human beings who are destroyed by bombs by Earth-based people in power that don't care about Earth-based human life. That is something that is sad. But we are going to stop all this when contact happens. There'll be no place for wars on Earth, for bombs on Earth, for nuclear bombs on Earth, for anything like that. We are here to say this is it. You had your time of control of the planet, and now we of the Ashtar Command are coming here to say we're not letting you do this anymore because it's affecting the vibrational patterns of frequencies to other planetary systems beyond Earth. People don't realize every bomb that is dropped on this planet, being a nuclear bomb, for example, radiates not only energy, but a vibrational pattern that affects other planets in a very negative thing,
Oh, wow.
negative way, so to speak.
They're like, yes.
And it's very important to understand that we will never, ever, and we will not allow this. And I'm saying this now very publicly, not only as a talk show host, because I do not come from this world. I want you to understand that. I'm very uh, out of the closet now, and I have to be that I am human, but I'm also consciously not human. If you can understand what I'm saying, my consciousness, I can switch my consciousness like right now, and I'm switching it into my other mode of cosmic understanding. And let me just say this: that we will not allow any more wars to occur when we come and contact is made. And right prior to contact, everything is going to switch.
Yep.
Meaning, all these people that are creating war and making money on the planet, destroying people, destroying human lives, babies, the innocent little children, it goes against everything we understand and believe in within
Yes.
the construct of where we come from, beyond Earth. And we are
Absolutely
going
true.
to stop it. It will be every weapon will be destroyed. Every weapon, from the littlest weapon to the biggest bomb, will be destroyed. We will have all the weapons destroyed. We can actually, what's the word? Every weapon could be dematerialized into nothingness, so to speak. I don't know how to put it more than that. That we can take every weapon on Earth and make it disappear.
You know,
Every
but
weapon.
after contact happens, we won't have a need for that stuff, guys. There will be no
Right.
need for that, because the world is going to be changing as we know it. The world is going to be changing. There's not going to be a need for any of that nonsense anymore. There really isn't. The only thing we need to focus on is, how big are those watermelons going to be, Commander?
Right. The
and
watermelons.
and how we can help the next person,
That's right.
how we can help each other, and and education and things like that, guys. That's where it's going to be. It's going to be about loving each other, uniting our families together, uniting as a community. It's going to be about loving one another, and I'm not saying it's going to be all kumbaya. I'm not saying that,
Right.
because
It won't be that
space
way
people
because
have
it's not
space
what
people
it is.
problems too. But what I am saying is that we're not going to have a need for the nonsense anymore, for the nuclear bombs, and for all this war that's going on, and for the senseless waste of human life. There's not
Mm.
going to be a need for that anymore.
Yeah, and when someone says, "Will I be able to still eat meat?" I'm absolutely certain you'll be able to eat your fried chicken or your Chinese food. The things that you're used to eating as food, I don't think are going to change. I think that that'll be a natural thing for people to make a decision whether they want to be vegetarian or not.
Oh yeah.
That's not, no one's going to change your eating habits.
They just said yuck.
I mean, now I am sure. I'm sure my family on the ship would love to have ice cream. That's ice cream is something that's very delicious. I don't think they say that's pretty yucky, but ice cream is pretty good. I can only eat so much ice cream. There's even a point for me when I'll have an ice cream if I really want it. But I can go days without ice cream. But anyway, I just saying you will still have the choices to eat what you wish to eat. Um,
Guys, and guys, listen, they have whatever about the meat thing, and that's fine. I like a good burger every now and then too, but let me tell you, they have got some of the best fruits and vegetables on their ships growing right now. I got to taste this mushroom, guys. It tasted like the juiciest porterhouse steak that you have ever had, and it wasn't even meat, but it tasted like it
wow.
was. It was good.
Yeah, I would eat that mushroom.
Yeah,
I
it
would.
was good.
I would definitely do it. You know. I just think that we have a lot of beautiful things, even though things look pretty crazy around the planet. That's why you need to turn off the national news in your country, because if you keep watching it, you're going to think the whole world's falling apart, and it really isn't. It's just
No.
that things are coming to a head now, and when we do have the initiation of contact with the public on Earth, it's going to be, again, nothing's going to change overnight. There's no way that can possibly happen. It would be too abrupt, and it's like having a human body. Like if you've been eating things a certain way, speaking of food, and now you're thinking, well, now I want to become a better person in terms of what I eat. And you can't just cut out what you've been eating all your life. You have to gradually transform it so you can start eating the other thing. Like if you want to eat watermelons all your life and you haven't done that, and you want to go from eating a fake watermelon to a real watermelon, you have to stop eating the fake watermelon, and then you can slowly eat a real, natural, organic watermelon. What I'm saying is everything will shift when contact happens. Um, and you start seeing the men and women come off the ships, and they start meeting you, and you'll actually start probably seeing your cosmic family too
Oh
when it
yeah.
happens.
And
So when
and
that
you know,
happens,
guys, things aren't going to change overnight. There's going to be a transition period. There's obviously, and they're not coming to tell us what to eat or control us in any way, shape, or form. It's not. That's not what it's about, guys. It's about them coming to help us save our planet, because our
right?
planet is in danger right now with all the poison that we're putting into it, and all the nuclear waste and the pollution and the garbage that we're putting into our waters, guys. they're coming to help us take care of all of that, and then to stop the control that's happening over us. But,
Right.
they're
And
coming to help us better our lives and teach us how to do that.
and Zaina's asking a question, and maybe she's saying, how could we hear them last night telepathically speaking in their spaceship? I'm not sure how to answer that question. How could we hear them? The Astra, I think she's speaking of our space family. How can we hear them? Are you asking about how we can hear the space people telepathically speaking in their spaceship, Zaina?
They speak with their mouths too, if that's what
Yeah.
you're asking. They speak both telepathically and they have learned how to use their mouths. It's kind of funny because they have spoke telepathically for so long that they, for our sake, have had to learn how to reuse their mouths again. So their English sometimes sounds a little bit off, but it's only because they are relearning how to use the English language or the whatever language it is that you speak.
Mm.
Um, but whatever language it is you speak, you will understand them.
I think you saying, Zaina, was when I was live last night? Are you saying you heard them on my live, or can you be more clear about that? I'm trying to figure this out here.
Maybe it was through the phone.
It could have been, yeah. Okay. Oh, she says, oh, okay, thanks. Okay. And I just, being the moderator, I took somebody out that was being negative in general about the normal thing about the fallen angels and all that stuff. So they're
Yeah,
gone.
no.
We have no use for that kind of folk, people that are misinforming the public.
No, and these are not fallen angels. These are not D words. These are not any of that. These are real legitimate beings that are from other planets, planetary systems. These guys are dimensional beings. These guys are coming from everywhere. And these are good space beings of light. These guys are the Ashtar Command. And it's not just the Ashtar Command, there are other higher levels of space beings
Right.
that are coming along with them to come and help our planet, guys. These are really powerful beings, but these are also very, very, very high vibrational beings that are coming to help us. I don't know about most of you, but I am very honored that these guys have chosen to help us.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I think Ted Tucker says, how, there's a couple questions. We'll get to I'm going to try to get to all the questions. Um, oh, they're saying when you and I were on together, they heard the space people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you'll hear them. You'll hear them.
Yeah, they often use my phone to communicate with. They were just actually talking just a few minutes ago. When we were talking about meat, they said yuck because they don't like meat very much.
Yeah.
But and most of their stuff is they most of them are vegetarians, but they do have stuff that does taste like meat, guys. It's not meat, but it tastes like meat. It's really really good stuff too.
Yeah. It'll be kind of easy once you see that food. TikToker says, how will contact change our day to day lives? Uh, uh, Officially or at the beginning, I would say not much. I mean, because obviously you're going to do your day to day living because that's what you have to do. But eventually, as things progress and everything gets integrated more with understanding and learning about how people live on other worlds beyond Earth, that will start penetrating into the societies on our planet Earth, where there'll eventually not be people working in department stores or working in factories or working in general in the way you understand things to happen on other planets, of where our space families come from. There are no like shopping malls or people working 9 to 5 jobs. So eventually that transition will happen in time to the whole planet, but it's going to be a gradual transformation. It won't be something that they're abruptly going to just like bam, you're now going to have to change. It doesn't operate that way.
No, they're
and
going
they
to be
understand.
teaching us too. They're going to be educating us on their technology, guys. They've got so much technology they're going to be bringing up. They've been storing this technology underneath our Earth's surface for quite a while, and I have witnessed just one of these storage facilities, guys, and there was so much stuff down there from ships that they have already had built and parked down there that all kinds of medical equipment, communication devices. There was just so much technology they have down there that, and they're all that's coming up. All that's going to be coming up is going to be distributed. People are going to be taught not only how to use this stuff, but how to build this stuff. You
Hmm.
know, they're each one of us are going to have, maybe a new job, a new place to live, and even if not a new place to live, and if you want to stay in your old place, that's okay too, it's whatever you want. But
Right.
what I am saying is that things are going to be changing, guys, and things are going to be changing for the better. It's only for the better of mankind that this is happening.
And also, Linda says, and it's a good question, and I believe the answer would be yes at some point. Are they taking us to other planets? You mean when contact happens, Linda? I think you'll have the option as things get started to teach people. There'll be people that will have the chance to, if they wish to, they'll be given the opportunity once they know what their mission is or what they're doing to meet your star families and to actually travel to other planets to experience other worlds in which the way other worlds live, which is something I do believe our command will actually have people do at some point.
Yes, and that's actually, yeah, that's going to be a thing. Because we've actually talked about that, and that, guys, they're also giving us choice. If you don't know, and like you haven't been following our story, um, I've been to, they have cities that are up in our clouds that have been cloaked, and they've been up there. They're all over the world. There's these cloud cities that have been up in our atmosphere for a really long time, and they keep them cloaked with clouds. Some people over the years have gotten a peek at these, and I've actually gotten a photo of one. Um, but they have cloud cities. There's also cities that are underneath our oceans waters and in the ice too. But there's like different places that these space beings have been living here on planet for a very long time, but we're also going to have the choice to go live in these places if we so choose, and it's just that give our planet some space as well, because we have so much of our planet that we haven't utilized, and these guys actually have. They've been there, they've been utilizing this space that we have yet to have discovered, or have been too scared or haven't had the technology to get that far down in the oceans. And these guys do have that technology, do have that capability, and have been utilizing this space, and they have these beautiful cities underneath there. They even have dimensional cities, like dimensional inner earth, for instance, is absolutely beautiful, and there are ways to get there, and we're going to have that capability of going to these places, guys, and we're
Yeah,
going to have choice of whether we want to live there or not.
and I'll read the questions that we have. Hey, James. James says some ETs are from the inner earth. That's absolutely true. Truth is coming out, which it is.
Hmm.
And TikToker says, will they be able to heal the sick with their tech, cancer, etc.? Well, there's a thing called the med beds. So those will be eventually when contact happens to these med beds that will be allowing for the healing of different things that people have as humans. And
And look, can I just speak on that really quick too?
yeah,
Sorry guys, but the it's not just about the med beds. These guys have a fantastic way to naturally heal too,
mhm.
and they've had the cure for all of this stuff for a long time. This is like nothing for them to heal all the stuff that we have been struggling to heal.
Hmm.
They prefer the more natural way of healing, but they do have like ships full of these med beds, and they have other medical technology too that I've seen in these storage facilities.
And they have
Um,
plants too, April, right? The plants that they use
Yes, they're plant. That's why I said they prefer the
natural way.
natural
Yeah,
way to heal things, because like, how we joke around about the tahar. Well, the
yeah, we
tahar
do.
is actually
It
a
is.
healing plant.
Yeah.
It's a plant that you can eat. It's a flower. and you can drink the juice from it that tastes like pineapple, but the stems and the leaves from these flowers are very, very healing. They
Mm-hmm.
can actually seal and heal small abrasions on your skin.
Mm-hmm.
And but they have like tons of different types of plants like this that can heal different ailments. And they prefer the natural way to healing than they would technology, but they do have the technology to heal like major things as well.
Yeah. And let's see. The other question is from, I think it's Bianna. Bianna says, how does everyone have a star family? Some people might not have a star family that they're specifically connected to. There are people that might not have a star family, which is possible, but there are a lot of people also that do have star families. So if you're asking how would one know, or how would you know you have a star family? I think that again, it goes through inner meditation, which is key. Learning how to do meditation and being having a consciousness that is focused on learning how to communicate telepathically. And there's a whole thing you need to do before you connect with your star family. First of all, it doesn't just happen. It's not like, okay, I want to meet my star family. Come on over. There you have to. There's certain protocols just for meditation to be very specific about making contact with, let's say, your star family. I think everybody out here, for the most part, and there might be some that don't have a star family, which is very, very possible. But I think for those that want to find out if they have a star family, it comes with discipline and meditation. That means just turning off the whole world, turning off everything out there to just focus on consciousness. And when you focus on consciousness, I believe, I call it Christ consciousness. That is the way to connect with your star family. So, what is Christ consciousness? It is the consciousness beyond human comprehension. Many times, it's the consciousness that purely connects you with the highest levels of understanding. And when you go into that level of understanding, you can say to yourself, "I'm a Christed being of light. I wish to connect with my star family." And then you have to learn how to put a protection around you so that just anybody comes through into your consciousness. Because if you don't do that, then anybody can come through and act like a cosmic joker, so to speak, when it's not who it is. So there's a whole, you have to take the time to learn to meditate, focus, to have that realization that yes, I can connect with my star family. If you internally all your life have felt you do have a star family, you probably do. You just need to know how to facilitate through meditation, making contact.
And guys, Commander still has one more Tahar hat to go to make his goal for the night. Can somebody please make sure the commander gets his Tahar hat?
I have one left. One, and I haven't said the word to heart, but I will say it if I get the hat. And I'll have a different expression on my face if I get it. My facial expressions will always change, Char. That takes a lot of energy to do that, folks. You don't realize what I go through, but that's okay. I'm used to it.
Somebody send the commander one of those dangly.
Now I have to set my goal again because of that. And you know what? I think I'm addicted to that hat. I think that hat I am absolutely, without a question, addicted to. Yeah. I just, there's other hats here. I'm trying to figure out what the hat is with the dangling things on it, but I haven't seen that. I actually think that's a pretty cool hat, but I haven't seen that hat, so I don't know where they're finding it. But we'll just use the Tahara. The Tahara. I
The
can't even
Tahar
speak the
hat.
word.
He's a Taharian.
But Taharian. We do have a little bit of a sense of, yes, I am very much. You see, the good thing about me is I'm very quick to the wit. So if I have a hat like that, I've been thinking, how do I react if I have another one of those hats on? And normally for me, it's very simple. I can just come up to another, I can imagine myself as something else or somebody else. That hat makes me feel like I'm some sort of a traveling person. Maybe I'm in India or something. I don't know. I can be anything I want to be. But there you go. But that it's just really important. So does everyone have a space family or just star seeds? That's Linda's question.
Star seeds have space families.
Yeah, if you're a star seed, like I am a star seed. So when I use the terminology and the definition of star seed, that means you come to an Earth-based family, but you are seated here with a family that is your mother, father on Earth. Your mother, father off planet know that you volunteered to be here, Linda, and so therefore when you come here, um, however that works, I didn't know my mother and father that that's the mother and father I was going to have. And when I was a kid, I didn't, I'm just a kid. I'm just like, my consciousness was, oh, okay, it's my mom and dad. But as I got older and become more aware, I realized that I know that out beyond coming from Earth, that I must have a family somewhere else. Because when I realized they came from Mars when I was a kid, I said, well, if I came from Mars, then I have a family beyond Earth. And that was my realization that I never would talk to my parents about the fact I didn't even know what the word starseed meant in the 1960s. I never heard of that term. I didn't know any of these terms or anything. But I did have the knowledge that I didn't come from here. That was the initial knowledge. And then when I saw the space people in the ship when I was a kid, I had the knowledge that they were just reminding me, even though they only showed their ship with them in it one time, they were telling me that I didn't come from Earth. They wanted to remind me, don't get too stuck on believing you came from Earth because you're not from here. Yes, you are human, but you're not from this particular planet. So I would say for you, as a start, you probably have a family somewhere off planet that you just haven't met yet. You will, but you just haven't met them yet.
And Jersey for Life, to answer your question or to comment on your comment, yes, they do have a cure for that. I asked because I'm a diabetic.
Yeah. And my friend James is saying, why don't they share the juice? I think there'll be plenty of juice for you, my
They
friend.
did. They did share the juice. I got to drink it.
You got to drink it.
Commander will too.
I can't wait. James, you'll be drinking the juice with us on the ship, and I'm
Yes.
going to get a big glass of juice because I want to have a big glass of juice.
Because
So
Commander is
you'll have
not
some
just
juice
from
too. We'll
Mars,
all
he's
have some
also
juice.
a Taharian.
I'm also a Taharian. Yeah. I did send my goals again for there's 8 hats on my shelves. The hats sell out like crazy. It's my most popular item. And I know that it's popular, whatever that thing is. Oh, is that gloves? What is that thing?
It's kitty
Oh, kitty
paws.
cat. Oh, thank you. Kitty paws. I thank you. Because I have a cat. I appreciate kitty paws. Yeah, absolutely.
Where just your space kitty has been awful quiet.
She's sleeping somewhere. I think she's in her meditate. We have a meditation pillow, and she sleeps on the meditation pillow, and that's how she sleeps at night. She really does sleep on a meditation pillow, my cat.
Do you have a like a bed for her inside your crystal room?
Oh yeah, there is a bed. Actually, the bed is actually her bed is wherever she wishes to go in our bedroom in the house on the couch. But we do have an actual bed, which is my meditation pillow on the floor, and she sleeps on that pillow at night. Unless
Oh.
she's in the physical bed or on the couch, she's sleeping on the meditation pillow.
Do you find that your cat is drawn to your crystal room?
I think yeah, she's always been drawn to the crystal room.
It's weird because
Missy,
I find that my animals, I often find them like circling when they're at rest in the house. I often find that they circle around and lay around where the crystals are in my house.
and I was just getting that hat again. I'm trying to figure out how to present myself with that hat. I'll figure it out yet. It's a brand new thing, so I have to figure out who I am with that hat on. So I'm still working it out, folks. I'll figure it out. But no, my cat has been always drawn to the meditation room. All the crystals are in there. We
Hmm.
have some crystals out here, but she goes in there. She loves being in that room. That's her favorite room, the crystal room. Uh, okay, so let's see. Greg says, if I sat in a med bed, would it clear my acne up?
Acne? Yes.
Yeah, acne. I mean,
Yes, actually, guys, they are going to be reversing some of our aging process because human beings were not meant to age as quickly as we are. We weren't meant to age this quickly, so they are going to be reversing some of our aging process that has happened to us. So
yeah,
that's also a really good thing. I can't wait to get that space lift finally.
yeah. And this is interesting. The last UFO, the last of us fans says I have visitation. I think, why don't we bring her up, April, and find out what her
Sure.
contact is?
I'm actually gonna hop down, Commander, because it's 2:30 in the morning and I
No,
am
I'm not,
beat.
I know it's getting late. I need to go to sleep too. It's going to be 3 in the morning, and I want to be definitely off. So I'll bring her up. I'll let you down. I
Okay.
want to say goodbye. I want to say hello to my space family on the ship. I hope you're enjoying the show, and we'll
Oh,
have more information
they're
about
talking.
me. Oh, the talking.
Yes. They said yes.
Yes, to what?
You said you hoped they were enjoying the show, and I got a really sharp, clear yes. It
Oh,
was your
yes.
sister.
Oh, my sister.
Yes, it
My
was
sister.
absolutely your
I
sister.
have to.
Yep.
I
She
want to
just said
say
yes
something.
again.
I want to tell my sister, thank you. Will you? I'm going to ask you a question. Why I got to ask this question because it's bugging me now. When you came to me the other night, were you in my crystal room?
Sorry, my dog is snoring.
I want to ask my sister, were you in my crystal room the other night when you were calling me to give me the warning? Because I went straight past the crystal room, my meditation room. Did you come in a rift through there and then leave?
Yes. I just got a yes.
I want to tell my sister.
He just said it
Uh,
again.
I want to. And I'm got my sister. I'm going to talk to her. I want to invite you to come here on one of my shows one night, and you can hang out with me for a while. Would you like to do that? With your brother?
Sorry, my dog is snoring.
So I'm inviting my sister to hang out with me on the show one night. Actually, if you wish to, we'll do it on an Ashtar night when we do the Ashtar thing on Saturday night with April. If you want to come hang out and come through the rift, you can hang out with me here in the room. So you're invited. I do have apple cider.
Yum. I just got yum.
She said, "Yep."
She
I,
said
I
yum.
yum. Okay.
Yum to the
So
apple cider.
good. So is that also not only a yum, but
Yes.
your brother's
She said,
inviting you?
she just
You'll
said
come and
yes.
hang out with me. She said yes. Okay. So
Sorry.
we're doing our Ashtar thing Saturday night. If your schedule's open, like is your schedule open? You are welcome to be here. Just again, I'll be in the living room here. So when you come through the rift, I'm going to have different lighting on in the room. I have my cosmic lighting. I won't have this background. So we're going to hopefully see my sister with me in the broadcast Saturday night.
Well,
See what happens.
I'm gonna bring both phones. I'll have both phones on, so hopefully she'll come through.
Well, hopefully she'll be right here in my living room, sitting in one of the seats. She won't have to worry about coming through. She can just, and if you wish to, I always don't. I keep saying sister, but what's her name? What's your name?
Taya, I told you.
I don't remember.
Taya, I told
Taya.
you.
Taya, I told you. Okay,
She
forgive
said
me.
her
Taya.
name's Taya. She said
Taya.
Taya, I told you.
Taya, I told you.
Her
Taya.
name is Taya. She was saying
Taya.
I told you. She already told you her name.
Okay. I have my memory is so over the place that I tend to forget things in the human consciousness. So,
Her name is
uh,
Her name is Taya, and
Taya.
she goes by. Remember, I told you they go by the shorter name. They call
Yeah.
her Tay.
Tay. Okay, Tay. That's so Tay is one of my two sisters,
Yes,
and she's the one who visited me the other night. So
she's the
Tay,
younger one.
the younger one.
Yep.
Tay, when you come here, you can hang out, and if you wish to, when you are physical, we have a beautiful couch. We have another chair on the other side of me here. So I have plenty of crystals, as you already see my crystals since you were in the other room the other night coming through the rift. This will be a very beautiful experience. And, even though they're not ready to have me go on the ships yet, I'm inviting you here as my sister, Taya, to be here. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. All right, Commander. I gotta go
All
because
right.
I'm beat.
Well, I got to ask my sister that question, which I was really kind of important to me since everyone's watching the video with her speaking. So we'll see what happens, folks.
Hopefully, we
I'm
can get
not
her to come
promising
through
anything. We'll
again.
see. We'll see. Hey, April, take care. It's getting to about 2:30 in the morning, and have a good night.
All right, everybody. I love you, and brother, I love you. You guys
Same
have a
here.
wonderful night.
Yep, you too. And don't eat too much tahar. Let me see here. Let's do this here. I want to thank everybody. I think it really is late. I'd like to have that person. Where is that person? The person that has had contact, visitation. Who is that? Let me see if I can go backwards and find them. Let's see. Mal, I think it's Mal Driver. Yes, contact is happening soon. We can't give you a specific date. The command's not going to do that because they don't want the government to know when that's happening. So it will definitely happen. Cats are definitely spiritual. Let's just see here. Vanessa Marie R. Vanessa Marie R. We'll see who Vanessa Marie R. is. Vanessa Marie R. Can you give me a comment first before I bring you on here? Can you give me a comment first of she's following the live, so we're going to bring her on here. Where's Vanessa Marie R? Let me see if I can find her here. I think we found her. Vanessa Marie R. Rodriguez. I just invited you on. You came on to request to go live. I think you did. We're going to do one more person. We'll have one person on tonight. We have a big night tomorrow night on Ashtar Command Q&A, and potentially, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, folks, but Ty, my sister, my younger sister on the ship, has agreed that she wants to come on to the show, and we're going to invite her to be in the studio. What studio? We're going to invite her to be here if she wishes to be here. I'm going to bring up James, and then we're going to get some sleep. I got my human self needs to get some rest. Oh, here we go. And
you said you wanted to bring up one person,
One
so
person.
we might as well save the best for last. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all Adians, all Palladians and all star seeds, this is Encounters with CmdrAleon.
That's right.
And I just came to say hello.
And my screen is it does its weird thing. It hasn't done it all night, but now tonight it wants to go kind of weirded on me. So it's just here. No, I'm gonna move the thing here. I got to get better lighting in here when this happens. So how you doing, brother?
I am blessed. I am awesome. I'm amazing. Hey, I've been talking with Shai too, and we were talking about that Russian thing, and she said we're A-OK, so not to worry about it.
Yeah, I was looking at that briefly. You know me, I tend to stay away from negative things in general. I saw that. I said, that's great. And then I said to myself, not only are we safe, but the Ashtar Command people on our spaceships will never let us get into a conflict that's going to destroy our planet. They won't let it happen. And so people need to know we are safe, even though, you know how the news media is around the world, they amplify the negative, they never amplify the positive. And,
right.
That's what happens.
Yeah, we got to erase the negative and amplify the positive.
We're having her on. We're going to figure out which night it is. We're going to do a whole show when she's not tired and when but we briefly had her on for a little bit tonight. We're going to have a show with her on either Sunday or Monday or Tuesday night.
Good, very good. I will tune in. I'll be in the mountains next week.
You look a lot. You really look good. You're shining really brightly. You know.
I know. I told you I had a great experience, and I've been ever since that experience. I think I've been rejuvenated, regenerated.
Yeah.
I didn't need any ETs to do healing on me because I think mine was more of an angelic.
Angelic. I mean, that's
interaction.
It was, yeah.
And through that interaction, I'm feeling healed. I'm feeling good. So, I think everybody don't worry. Don't focus on the ETs giving you healing. Find that healing within yourself.
Right here.
Find it through the Christ consciousness.
I just heard a dog bark. I heard a dog barking, I think. But right here, like James is saying, And that's all the teachings are. Even our space family would say, go within yourself to heal yourself. If it's a conscious healing, a mental healing, meditate, go within, find what's causing that conflict within you, and go within. Because really, you're not going to, I always tell people, and you know this to be true, I always want people to be liberated, but they have to go within to be liberated. And in terms of being angelic healing, or however that works, however that's going to happen, for James, it happened to be the angelic realm of healing, and which connected with him, which changed his whole life. He knows that because I know the story. And he's not the same James I knew when I first came on here on TikTok. He's a whole, he's a very different.
I don't even look the same.
You don't look the same. You look like you've been really, you really look. So your energy level is so bright, and you know that because you can feel the energy of your own being, right?
Yeah, and you know what? The only encouraging words I can give to everybody is that, like you said, find it within. And there's a reason. There's a reason why in psychology and in medicine they have placebo, like the placebo effect. Mind over matter, guys. Mind over matter. Use your heart. Use that inner Christ consciousness, and you'll get that healing. Because I keep seeing people in the chat talking about their diabetes and
a lot of things like that,
a lot of the things that they need healed from, and it's work. It's a process. It's what you eat, and also what you're doing in your head.
And it takes time because we're in a human.
And I think with the ETs, I think there's. I said in the chat, I think that a lot of people might think that they're having physical interactions, but I'm really thinking they're more of a telepathic, because if we were having like the real physical contacts, and there's a med bed just sitting right there,
right?
Either they can't if they can't interfere by healing, they wouldn't even bring you on the ship, because mentally they don't think like we do. So that, imagine somebody with cancer going onto a ship, and then the ET saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't heal you." So that's why I think it's more of a telepathic experience that they're having, because if it was physical, they would say, "Hey, just get in the bed."
Although the ones that are not asking for healings, that are having physical encounters, and we've had many people on my show, too many to count since the beginning, and it's always been different with every story. And I've learned from doing the show, I've learned to have to be able to read the story based on what I'm hearing from the person, the way they're speaking the story, which is good for me. Being in my background's news media, I was really trained well. I can tell if and they'll ask me. Like when they say they've had a dream of going on a ship, we know that is the telepathic dream experience, and it could be also very real. That's where they're reading on a conscious level with consciousness. And then they're the ones that I've had on recently in the last few months that have actually been taken on trips.
I think those who was the lady on last night with the Anunnaki? She's having some physical. She's having physical. She's having knocking on her toilet bowl.
Yeah, they've been having
contact. The Anunnakis.
Yeah, they've been actually having contact, and it's funny. And I've been tracking the way this is happening. There are people that are in remote areas that are having contact that are not near other people. Like the Appalachians in Pennsylvania. I didn't know that area because geography-wise, I did not know where the Appalachians were in Pennsylvania. Now I understand there is an area where the Appalachians go through Pennsylvania. I knew about the Pocono Mountains, but not the Appalachian area. So they're up in a remote area up there. Ray is out of the two. Mary too, but Ray is the one that they've been contacting, and they have documented pictures. And I've also helped them try to get to realize that how to make. They're making physical contact with you. I think I just told Mary the other night, I said, talk to Ray. I said, get Ray to invite them on your screen, on your phone, and let's do an interview. You know how
they've got to get a game cam, because there's an area that they keep on showing pictures of where you can see that there's something back there, right?
There's something back there, yeah.
So if they put a game cam back behind that, facing their house,
Yep.
I think they would be able to see it from the back end.
Yeah, I think they
Better.
need to do that. That's a good technical suggestion. Maybe we should mention it to
Yep.
them. You know?
Yeah, because it's always in that same area. It's like 20 yards away from the
It's
house.
very
There's
apparent.
like
It's right
two
there.
trees that it's standing behind.
That's where they are.
Put it
right?
put it behind there.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna be in the Rocky Mountains next week.
The Rocky Mountains also an area
go.
where there's a lot of things going on. So
I'm gonna
and
be
also
I'm gonna be up on that whole little area, Wyoming, Montana, Utah, all that.
well, there's also an area where the Sasquatch and the Bigfoot. I studied the area, because I'm interested in that subject too. That's an area in the rural areas there where there have been documented sightings of the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch. I know you're interested in that
hoping
too,
to go
so
find one.
you will.
I'm hoping to find
James is
one.
very
That's
much
where I'm
interested in
going.
that. He has a knowledge of that subject, and I think if any, are you
Yeah,
going
I'm
by
gonna go to
yourself
the
or
Rocky
you going with
Mountain
other
High.
people? Who else is going with you? Anyone?
I'm going solo.
You're going solo.
Yeah, I've been
Very
doing a
interesting.
lot of solo traveling.
So you're going to go into the woods at night, or what are you going to do?
I don't think I'm gonna go into the woods at night. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be by myself. I am not. I don't think I'm gonna be
I can see you
going out
going
into
to
the woods by
at night,
myself.
and you're getting like
I'm gonna be in the hot tub in my cabin by myself.
and you stand out in the woods. You're going to be like a solo investigator for the Sasquatch, and then all of a sudden the Bigfoot shows up, and you're standing there.
I'll go outside the cabin and let off some Bigfoot calls.
Yeah. Are you going to be in a cabin?
Yeah.
You're going to be in a cabin. Is there like wooded areas around the cabin, or where are you going to be out?
Yeah, it's gonna be in the woods. Yeah,
In the
I'm gonna
woods.
be.
Oh, that's
it's gonna be a
well,
little secluded.
you'll be in a safe place if there is a Bigfoot. You can do the meditation in the cabin, and maybe they'll visit you.
Yeah.
I'm
That's the whole point,
I
is to
actually
do
do
more
believe that is
meditation.
possible for you because you do meditate. I think that is
Yeah.
possible that you can. Seriously, folks, James is very much into the subject of that. I think that in the cabin he can be in a safe, warm place, and he could, do meditation and see what happens. Experiment with if the Bigfoots do come close to the cabin. That would be very interesting if you actually were able to document.
I'm hoping for anything because it's supposed to be, pretty clear skied up there, and there's not a lot of light pollution. So hopefully we'll get to see something really cool up in the sky.
Yeah. Well, speaking of cool, I'm glad to see you. I know it's almost 3 in the morning.
Happy to see you, sir.
Yes, and much love to you, man, because you've gone through a lot of.
I've been keeping my energy for myself, but I'm gonna be sharing more of it.
Yeah, no, that's important. You gotta, and he has a story about the angelics, and he went through.
I've got more. I've got.
I know you've had more experience since then. I know you have.
A lot of the hidden cloak ships around too. A lot of people in Florida. It's weird. I'm seeing them taking pictures from the different angles of what I'm seeing from. So it's a lot of confirmation.
Interesting. I know. I sensed, even though we haven't always spoken recently, I know you've been actually having a lot of connections on the cosmic level. And I know you have many other things to share in the future too. So
definitely,
much love to you, brother. I'm gonna.
Good night, everybody.
In the morning. And
good night, you Palladian, Starseed, Arturian, man from Mars, folks.
Yeah. All right, James. Thanks for being on here, brother. We'll just let James. Okay, there we go. So I want to say thank you to everybody who's been here. We appreciate all of you. And even though I didn't get to 100,000 likes, I'm not even worried about that tonight. It's just too late. And I want to, if you have a story to tell tomorrow on Sunday night, you can come on Sunday night. Tomorrow night is Ashtar Command contact night. We'll be having contact with our space family. And potentially, now this is not written in stone, but I got to talk to my sister through April's other phone, Tia, and I asked her if she'd want to come through the rift and hang out with me, and she said yes. So even though it's not time for me with the other 4 to go on the ship, it doesn't mean that they cannot come here. So I'm going to experiment tomorrow night with my lighting and see if my younger sister, Tara, comes in to actually join us. We'll see what happens. Taha, yeah, like Taha. I think it's like, I pronounce it Taha. All right, folks, have a good night. I'm going to sign out of here on the show. It's been a long night, and I'll be on tomorrow night at 11 here on Encounters with our Ashtar Command Spaceship Contact Night. You're welcome to join us. Please pass the word. And if I didn't get to your questions, or April didn't, or whatever, we will get to your questions. We're not ignoring anybody. There's so many people asking questions, and we are aware of it. So we will definitely get your questions tomorrow night. Our focus is going to be the Ashtar Command, so please have your questions focused on our space family, and we'll be happy to do the best to answer your questions. Okay, everybody, take care. Have a blessed weekend. We'll catch you later.